Welcome to Cinema Award Central. Some Oscar wins feel right, and some still sting decades later. Today, we are looking at 10 performances that absolutely deserved the Oscar for Best Actor, but missed out. If you love deep dives into legendary performances and controversial winners, hit subscribe and let's start now. 1. Marlon Brando loses to Humphrey Bogart, 1952. In 1952, a young Marlon Brando delivered a raw, electrifying performance as Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire, redefining screen acting with his method style. The Oscar went instead to Humphrey Bogart for The African Queen, a beloved performance from a Hollywood legend. While Bogart's win is iconic, many critics still argue that Brando's work was more revolutionary and that the Academy was slow to recognize just how much he was changing acting forever. 2. Sidney Poitier loses to David Niven, 1959. In 1959, Sidney Poitier was nominated for The Defiant Ones, playing a chained black prisoner forced to escape with a white inmate, a role loaded with tension and humanity in the middle of the civil rights era. The Oscar, however, went to David Niven for Separate Tables, making Poitier's loss feel especially painful in hindsight, considering how groundbreaking and influential his work was. Many historians view this as one of the Academy's big missed opportunities to recognize Poitier's power earlier. 3. Robert Redford loses to Jack Lemmon, 1974. In 1974, Robert Redford was nominated for his magnetic performance in The Sting, a stylish conman role that solidified his status as one of the era's defining stars. The Oscar ended up in the hands of Jack Lemmon for Save the Tiger, a darker, more tortured character that fit the Academy's preference for serious drama. Redford's loss is often cited as one of those classic examples where a huge star gave an iconic performance but the Academy opted for something grimmer and less crowd-pleasing. 4. Robert De Niro loses to Jon Voight, 1979. Robert De Niro was nominated for The Deer Hunter, playing Michael Vronsky, a steelworker whose life is shattered by the Vietnam War. De Niro has described this as one of his most physically and emotionally demanding performances, and the film contains some of the most harrowing scenes of his career. Yet the Oscar went to Jon Voight for Coming Home, another Vietnam-themed drama where he played a paraplegic veteran, a performance that swept many of the key precursors and made him the frontrunner. De Niro's loss is one of those classic Oscar what-ifs, two towering performances in the same year, but only one statue, and many believe De Niro's work has become the more iconic over time. 5. Harrison Ford loses to William Hurt, 1986. In 1986, Harrison Ford was nominated for his intense, grounded performance as a cop hiding out with an Amish community in Witness. His work showed a more vulnerable, human side than his typical action hero roles. But the Oscar went to William Hurt for Kiss of the Spider-Woman, a bold, theatrical performance that clearly appealed to the Academy's taste for showier, transformative roles. Many fans still argue that this was Ford's best ever shot at an Oscar and that his understated work has aged better than the winner. 6. Robin Williams loses to Anthony Hopkins, 1992. In 1992, Robin Williams stunned audiences with a restrained, heartfelt performance as the unusual doctor in The Fisher King, blending comedy and tragedy in a way only he could. But the Oscar that year went to Anthony Hopkins for his chilling, unforgettable role as Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs, a performance that dominated pop culture. Hopkins' win is understandable, but it meant Williams' brilliant dramatic work remained Oscar-less in the Best Actor category, adding to his long list of near misses. 7. Denzel Washington loses to Kevin Spacey, 2000. In 2000, Denzel Washington delivered a powerful, emotional performance as boxer Reuben "Hurricane" Carter in The Hurricane, a wrongfully convicted man fighting for justice. Yet the Oscar went to Kevin Spacey for American Beauty, a performance that captured the late 90s mood of suburban dissatisfaction. Even at the time, many commentators felt Washington's work was the more impactful and morally resonant, and in hindsight this race looks very different given how each film and actor's legacy has aged. 8. Bill Murray loses to Sean Penn, 2004. Jump to 2004, Bill Murray delivered a career-defining, quietly heartbreaking performance in Lost in Translation. He had already won the Golden Globe, BAFTA, and several critics' awards, and for many, he felt like the clear favorite. But on Oscar night, the Academy chose Sean Penn for Mystic River, rewarding a darker, more traditionally dramatic turn. Murray himself later admitted he was surprised to lose, and a lot of film fans still see this as the night the Academy walked away from one of its most perfect chances to reward him. 9. Gary Oldman loses to Jean Dujardin, 2012. At the 2012 Oscars, Gary Oldman finally earned his first Best Actor nomination for Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, playing George Smiley with quiet intensity, tiny gestures, and an almost minimalist approach to emotion. The Academy instead awarded Jean Dujardin for The Artist, a charming, energetic silent-style performance that fit perfectly with the film's nostalgic celebration of old Hollywood. Many cinephiles feel Oldman's subtle, layered work has aged better, and that this could have been his ideal moment, years before his eventual win for a more makeup-heavy role in Darkest Hour. 10. Willem Dafoe loses to Rami Malek, 2019. Fast forward to 2019. Willem Dafoe was nominated for At Eternity's Gate, playing Vincent van Gogh with delicate vulnerability and a deeply internal, almost haunted energy. But the Academy gave Best Actor to Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody, a performance praised for its physicality and charisma as Freddie Mercury but sometimes criticized as more of an impression than a fully lived-in character. Among cinephiles, there is still a strong camp that believes Dafoe's raw, art-house portrayal should have taken the prize. So those are 10 performances that deserve the Oscar for Best Actor, but missed out. Which one do you think is the biggest injustice? Did the Academy get any of these right in your opinion, or did they completely fumble it? Tell your pick in the comments, suggest more robbed performances for a part 2, and don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell for more award season deep dives from Cinema Awards Central.